Okay, let's make a start, inshallah. Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Let's turn that down. اللهم إنا نسألك الإخلاص في القول والعمل اللهم تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome again to another session. I do want to just say a little bit just on, alhamdulillah, there's so much that is available to us now in Ramadan. But the key thing to remember with whatever you're doing and whatever you've decided to do is consistency. Even, for example, if you've joined us for this series, I know it's very tempting to sometimes think, oh, we have a recording available. And what happens is over the course of Ramadan, you start to slip and you start to say, okay, actually, I'm not going to make the live session. Let's just catch up with the recording, right? Which is okay in certain circumstances. But what you find is sometimes that can lead to general just slipping away, right? It's almost like you slip away in stages where if you can make the live, try to be consistent in that. If on the odd occasion, for some reason, you just can't make the live, okay, alhamdulillah, then the recording is available for you. For those of you that already knew right from the beginning of the months that, I'm not going to be able to make the live, and so you're relying on the recordings, that's fine. But if your intention was to start with the live and you came on day 1 and day 2, and then you kind of started saying, I'll listen to it later, your listening to the later is going to start fizzling out as well. So be careful and make dua. And I make dua that Allah gives you the consistency, gives us all the, the determination and the motivation to continue right through to the end of Ramadan. So keep going, keep joining us, inshallah, for the live. I like to see you all here. And remember, of course, you're free to ask questions through the chat as well. Okay. If we don't answer during the session, then we will answer, inshallah, through the Telegram channel. So if you haven't subscribed to that, please do that soon, inshallah. Normally, if, for example, Sister Zuleika mentions a dua in her session, we'll share that on the Telegram group. So that will be available to you. So it's all good, alhamdulillah. It's good to join the, subscribe to that channel as well. Okay, inshallah, let's make a start on ayah number 4 today. Let me just bring it up for you. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we should be able to do the whole ayah today, inshallah. What I want to look at is, we'll look at the first part first. So if, Auntie Nasreen, if you could join me for the isti'adha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
You're just breaking and say nirra. Remember we say ar-rajim, ar-ra, ar-ra. Don't stop the sound of your voice in the middle of the ras. Ar-rajim.
Ar-rajim.
That's better. And the other thing, Auntie, I want a little bit more of a squeeze for your ayn at the beginning. A'udhu.
A'udhu.
Jazakumullah khairan. And be careful not to stretch the dhu at the end because it's only one count. A'udhu.
A'udhu.
Much better. Jazakumullah khairan. Allah bless you. Then we have the next part. Sister Farhat, if you'd like to join me for that one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Yes, what I'd like to do is, when you do your joining bit, so when you say when you say the next part, Bismillahi, the meme joining with the lam in the name of Allah, I want you to join in a little bit more gently, right? So not so fast, not Bismillahi, Bismillahi. So not Bismil. You kind of rush and there's almost like an emphasis done there. Let's try that one again. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
One more time. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
You're much better with the first part, the bis. That's good. The second part we can ease up. Bismillahi, Bismillahi.
Bismillahi.
Inshallah, with practice, it can be, it's better, but it still can be eased up a little bit more, inshallah. Not a bad effort. Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay, so we have the first two words of the ayah we've seen before. We've seen innalladhina. So we said that the noon mushaddad, or the noon with the shadda on it, we prolong this. We say inna, right? And then the noon we know is joined with the lam. The lam, when we join the lam, it's one of those letters that you stay on not too long, not too short. It's a tawassut letter or a bayniya letter. So we say innal, nal. This part, you don't rush it, okay? But you don't make it too long either, okay? Innalladhina. The dhina, of course, we know the the part is 2 counts, and then you're back to a 1 count noon, which is nice and light. Everything is light here. Sister Salma, if you could try this. Innalladhina.
Innalladhina.
Remember, for the noon, when you say the fatha, when you say the first noon, I'm talking about in the word inna, this one here. When you say inna, the way they say na at the end, you want to keep that, because you're just getting a little bit like inna, right? I want inna, innalladhina.
Innalladhina.
So say it on its own first for me. Inna.
Inna.
Yes, I want to keep this na sound. Innalladhina.
Innalladhina.
We're still need to work on this. You can say it in isolation well. You just have to remember to put it in to the word, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan, alhamdulillah. Right, then we come to the next word, yunadunaka. You have the you, the ya at the beginning. This has a dhamma, so you've got to circle the lips for that one. You say you, but you don't prolong this. It's only 1 count. So we don't say you, it's just you. The noon has the mad alif with it, so this is stretched for 2 counts. And then the dal has the mad waw with it, which is also stretched for 2 counts. So we've got to get our balance right here. We start off with a short 1 count to you, and then nadu, same length for both light letters, okay? For the do, of course, you'll notice that you circle the lips. For the na, you don't. Yunadu, naka. Again, we're back to 2 light letters, both 1 count. So at the end, again, you're not prolonging anything. You prolong the nadu, naka. It's just 1 count, both light, okay? Let's try this, Sister Humaira. Yunadunaka.
Yunadunaka.
Let's try the whole thing. Innalladhina yunadunaka.
Innalladhina yunadunaka.
Not bad. Jazakumullah khairan. Alhamdulillah. Allah bless you. We then have something that we discussed yesterday. Okay, we have this word min followed by wara. We have, now remember when I mentioned that when you have the letter noon or the letter mim and there is nothing on it, there's nothing at the top, there's nothing at the bottom, we cannot see anything drawn, there's no fatha, no dhamma, no kasra, no zabar, zir, pesh, we can't even see a sukoon on it. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, what do we do in that case? We assume that it has a sukoon. Okay, so it is a noon sakin. And the reason the sukoon is not drawn is because something's happening here. Okay, we're not clearly pronouncing min. Now we saw yesterday in the word, let me just remind myself, it was when we had lahum maghfiratun wa. This we had a tanween followed by a letter waw. Here we have a noon sakin followed by a waw. Okay, so here we are doing the same thing. This is called idgham naqis bi ghunna. So this is again, the noon is going to try and merge into the waw, but it's not going to fully merge. And by merge, I mean the noon wants to become a waw. It wants to change and become a copy of the next letter. It wants to become a waw, but it's an incomplete merge, it's an incomplete change, okay? And that means we hear some of the noon and we hear the wow at the same time, okay? So yesterday we said it was مغفرة و. We were hearing the ghunna, which was the sound of the noon, and the way that we heard the noon, not by the tip of the tongue touching the place of noon. We're not saying min, but we're saying mia. The sound is going through the nasal cavity, okay? Whilst we are doing that, we are pronouncing the wow, okay? So our lips then round for the woo. Like when you say, ow, this sound is coming through at the same time. So we're saying meow, meow. Sister Farhat, would you like to try that, please? Meow.
Miwa.
MashaAllah, beautiful. Alhamdulillah, Jazakumullah khairan. Allah bless you. Miwa. So you hear the ghunna and the wow at the same time, and we hold this, okay? We hold this and we let it prolong for a little bit. So we don't just go miwa, we say miwa, just how I prolong the meow, but be careful not to prolong the wa after. When you pronounce this wa, it's only one count. So you say meow wa, back to a one count wa, okay? The waw is a light letter, but the ra after it is heavy. Okay, so you should notice a difference when you say wa ra, wa, not wa. We don't want to say wa ra. We want to say wa ra, ra. Okay, the ra you'll notice has got a mud alif with it, and it has got the long mud symbol at the top. That means that for those of you that know, this is mad wajib muttasil, and it can be 4 or 5 counts. Okay, so we're stretching this for quite a bit. Okay, you can do it 4 counts or 5 counts. Min wara'il hujurati. Okay, I'll join the next word and then ask somebody to recite after me, inshallah. So we say wara, then we say e. Now you be careful here because it's very easy to over kind of put so much energy and enthusiasm into this that the hamza can become a ayn. And remember, the hamzas from the bottom of the throat, we've looked at this, there's no squeezing. So you've got to stay relaxed. Min wara e, not a or o, anything like that. E, nice and relaxed, okay? The hamza is joined to the lam, okay? So we say il, min wara'il. Okay, actually, let's get somebody to say this because it just gives an opportunity for all of you at home to also recite. So I'll ask Sister Humaira if you could say this for me. Min wara'il.
Min wara'il.
Yes. Now, just to make it clear, it's not a good place to stop. I've stopped at il, but normally in our recitation, we wouldn't stop here. I mean, I've done it just for the sake of practice, but this lam is part of the next word. So really, you would continue reading. Where I've stopped, never stop here when you're reciting yourself, okay? Then we have the 2 dhammas, huju, both light letters, 1 count. Huju. Now the ha we've seen is from the middle of the throat. It's from the same place as ayn. So where you say the a, u, hu, this is the breathy one where you actually have a very gentle squeeze in the middle of the throat, but you allow the breath. Now you have a conscious movement of breath coming out. Hu. Okay, huju. Okay, we come back to and also I need to mention here is be careful with the sounds that you're making here. Both of these letters have to end with u, have to be huju. It's very easy to say hoju, especially if you're reciting at a faster pace. You get into the rhythm, you kind of you start to prepare for the dhamma, but you're preparing too late, right? So what happens is your hu, the first letter that has the dhamma, the hu, ends up being incomplete. You don't fully complete the sound of the u, so you end up saying o instead, okay? So take your time with this. Min wara'il hu. See my circle, the lips are circled straight away as soon as I enter the ha. al-hujura. Then you have the heavy ra, which is 2 counts. Okay, back to a heavy ra again. This one is only 2 counts. It has got the mad alif, just like the one before did. The difference is that the one in min wara had this mud symbol at the top. Okay, that's what made it longer. Whereas the one here in al-hujurati, this alif does not have anything at the top. So this one stays as 2 counts. Okay. And then you have a light T, which is for 1 count at the end. Okay. Make sure you say T and not T. Okay. Let's try this, Sister Salma. من وراء الحجرات.
من وراء الحجرات.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Good, Alhamdulillah. And I could tell that you tried with the wow. You made an effort to make your wow light, MashaAllah. And I heard that and I picked up on that. Allah bless you. Okay, let's get somebody, one more person. So Sister Farhat, if you'd like to have a go after me as well. من وراء الحجرات.
من وراء الحجرات.
Not bad, mashallah. Good, mashallah. Allah bless you. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Okay, so we then go on to the next word. We have the word aktharuhum. Now here again is a letter Hamza. It's joined to the letter Kaf. Now the Kaf is a letter that when we pronounce it, we say one, it is Shidda and it is Hams. Right? This is for those of you that know. If you haven't heard these phrases before, I'm just going to explain them and I'd like you to just understand what I mean by them, inshallah. The Kaf is a letter we say it is Shidda. Shidda means the sound stops. Your voice has to stop when you say it. Right? When you, especially when it has a sukoon like it is here, we'll say Ak. See, the sound stops. Ak. We have some letters that we saw previously, like in the word tash'urun, where the sound continues. Tash'urun, where it keeps going, right? This isn't one of those letters. This is a letter where the sound stops. So we say Ak, the sound stops, right? But it is also a letter of hams. And that means that you have to hear some of the breath, right? So for some people, it can get quite confusing because you think, you're saying stop the sound, and then you're saying carry on with the breath. What we do is we do each one in stages. Whenever you pronounce this kaf with a sukoon, we first stop the sound, ak, then you hear a little bit of breath. Ak, ak, ak. Okay, you hear a little bit of breath coming after. So the shidda element comes in first, you stop the sound, and then you hear a little bit of breath. The reason you need that breath actually is the breath is what makes it clear what letter you're saying. If you just said ak, for a listener, it can be confusing and they can mishear or think that you said another letter. So the fact they say ak, when they hear the hums, it makes it very clear what letter is being read. Okay, and with the Quran, you'll notice that with all of Tajweed, the reason you have the Tajweed is that there is actually no room for confusion. It makes everything very clear. So nobody's going to think, oh, did she read this or did she read that? Or was it this letter or that letter? If you're pronouncing it properly, it's very clear what's being read. Okay, subhanallah. Okay, so we have here ak, ak. So you can try this. Auntie Nasreen, if you try this for me. Ak, ak.
Ak.
One more time, please. Ak.
Ak. Ak.
Good, alhamdulillah, good. So you see how you stop the sound first and then you hear the breath later. Good. Then we have the letter tha, right? Now the tha is still a light letter. The reason I'm saying light, because again, we have light followed by heavy, right? So again, be very careful when you say ak. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Shazi. I'm very glad that you're benefiting from this. Alhamdulillah. May Allah allow us to continue benefiting from these sessions. And may Allah make us go from strength to strength and give us the ability to apply what we have learned. Jazakumullahu khairan. Alhamdulillah. So we say aktha, aktha. The tha, nice and light, 1 count. Be careful not to make it heavy. We don't want to say aktha. We want to keep it aktha, aktha. Try that, Auntie. Aktha.
Aktharuhum. Sorry.
That's okay. That's fine, alhamdulillah. So good, your tha was light, mashallah, good. You then need to make, and your ra was a little bit on the light side, aren't you? So the ra we can make a little bit heavy. So if you struggle to make this ra heavy, go back, if you can say a heavy ra, so if you can say, for example, if you're a ra with a fatha, remind yourself and go back and say that. Say ra, ru, ra, ru. Again, the way that we're making it heavy is to do with the back of the tongue. It's a little bit raised and a little bit pushed back. So we're not just saying ru, ru. This would be incorrect. We don't want to say ru. We want to say ru, ru. Aktharu, aktharu. But you have to keep yourself in control. Light hamza, light kaf, light tha, then go for a heavy ra. So you almost have to keep yourself in control and only get heavy when you need to get heavy. Don't get heavy too early, which is the tendency here, because people will say aktharu, tharu, tha, 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 tha. So auntie, let's try this. Aktharuhum.
Aktharuhum.
Much better. And we'll do it one more time just so that everybody can get the opportunity to repeat. Aktharuhum.
Aktharuhum.
Much better. Your ra can be a little bit heavier still, auntie, but it's better than it was before. This ra was a lot better. Let's try and see if we can use this ra that you just said and put it into the word. Aktharuhum.
Aktharuhum.
Better, better. Yeah, it's when you say in isolation, it is better. So maybe just work on this, auntie. Keep reminding yourself, ru, 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 and then take it in stages. Aktharu, aktharu, aktharuhum.
Aktharuhum.
Much better, much better. Just be careful not to make the ra too long, though. We won't say ruhum, right? We won't say we don't want to be saying ruhum. It's just ruhum, ruhum.
Ruhum.
Aktharuhum.
Aktharuhum.
MashaAllah. Yes, alhamdulillah. Not bad, auntie. You're doing well. MashaAllah. Allah bless you. Good. So we've mentioned the hum before. Now, so remember we saw the pronoun, the attached pronoun hum, we've seen in qulubahum in the previous ayah, right? So here again we're saying the same hum. You do not say hum, right? Or hum. Hum is too much nasal, right? That's too much gunna. Or you're starting the gunna too early. You have to say who. Now this, if this is your first time doing this, don't worry if you can't get this yet. This is something that we correct a little bit later. This is for again for some of the more able or the students who have been studying for a longer time and are ready for this information. So for those of you that do understand and can follow, for the word hum, you need to remember the who itself. When you say the who part, there's no gunna in this. It's very common to say hum. You see, there's gunna in there. Who, no gunna. So you got to make sure the who has no gunna, and then you go for the gunna in the meme. The meme has nasalization with it. Okay, and that's why sometimes we start the nasalization too early. So we say who, hum, aktharuhum. Okay, let's move on to the last part. We have the la, which is 2 counts and nice and light. So be careful not to say la. This is very common. Say la or la. I think that was about the same. La, nice and light. If you are dropping your jaw too much and saying la, you see, be careful. You don't want to be doing that. The mouth just opens a little bit. La. Okay, nice and light and only 2 counts. Okay. Once you've said that, we have come to the last word, ya'qilun. And here again, we start with a nice light ya. We're joining this time with an ayn. Okay. Now, when you join with the ayn is a letter like the lam. You know how we saw the lam over here for the il, wara'il, right? Whenever you have a lam which is joint, even when we had the very first 2 words, innalladhina, we said that whenever you join a lam, you stay on it not too short, but not too long. Okay, so you stay on it for, we said, remember, the tawassut or bayniya letter. Ayn is also one of those letters. It's one of those letters that you don't quicken. You don't make it very short and say yaqi, yaqi, not like this. And you don't say yaqi. You don't make it too long. It's in between. Yaqilun, yaqilun. You stay on it for a bit, then you move on. Be careful. So what you want to do here with the ain is you don't want to bounce it. Ya'a. You don't want to do that. Ya'a. This would be incorrect. We don't say ya'aqilun, ya'a. This jerk, this bounce, we want to avoid that. You hold the squeeze in the throat. Ya'qi, ya'qi. I'm making it very long now just to emphasize it. But when you're reading, you say la ya'qilun, ya'qilun. Okay. Let's have Sister Salma, if you could try this for me. La ya'qilun.
لا يعقلون.
Not bad, mashallah, good. Your ain can be lighter. It's a little bit heavy. What I want you to try saying is, because I know you can say the letter ha. Can you, now I'm going to make you say the phrase yah. So this. Pen is a little bit slow today. Yah, right, for the sake of practice. I want you to feel where you are in your throat. And I want you to feel how the tongue isn't doing anything. The back of the tongue isn't doing anything, but feel how deep you're going, right? Say yah.
Yeah.
Good, right. See how it's light and easy. Feel where you're going. I'll make you say it again, and then I'll say it and replace it with the ain. Yah,
Yeah.
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 Yes, keep it down though. Towards the end, you shift a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a bit better. Yaqilun.
يعقلون.
Not bad. Jazakumullahu khairan. Not bad. Alhamdulillah. So with the qaf here, for those of you that know, now the qaf we mentioned yesterday, what's going on and where the makhraj is. So remember what we said about it's the deepest part of the tongue, soft palate. You're either going to move upwards and backwards, or remember the Smarty or the M&M analogy that I gave about where you're going. The qaf though here has a kasra. Now the qaf I did say yesterday is a heavy letter. We normally say qa, qu, qi. It's heavy, right? For those of you that know, there are levels of heaviness. There are times where letters are very heavy and times when they're not so heavy. They're still heavy, but not so heavy. When a heavy letter has a kasra, it's one of the not so heavy versions. So we don't say qi too much, right? We don't need to over exaggerate. Not yaqilun, that would be wrong. It's yaqilun. Okay. Sister Farhat, if you could have a go at that. Yaqilun.
يعقلون.
Yes, your loon is very nice too. Your mother is nice and light. Jazakallah khairan. Allah bless you. Okay, we are almost out of time, and I do want to go back to the beginning of this ayah and recite the whole thing together. So if Sister Homera, if you could join me in this, please. إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات أكثرهم
إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات.
Okay, that's okay. You got started. You got out of bed. That's fine. No, that's fine. We'll start from min وراء الحجرات أكثرهم لا يعقلون.
من وراء الحجرات أكثرهم لا يعقلون.
Try to be a little bit controlled with the ain. لا يعقلون.
لا يعقلون.
And the qaf, qi. Sorry.
لا يعقلون.
What's happened? There we go. Jazakumullah khairan. Okay, let's do it one more time with Sister. Actually, let's do Auntie Nasreen. إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات.
إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات.
Not bad. Jazakumullah khair. Just be careful, auntie. When you say yunadunaka, you want to try and keep the noon a little bit lighter. Yuna, not yuna. Yunadunaka.
ينادونك من وراء الحجرات.
Yep.
الحجرات.
Good. And then let's say that again. من وراء الحجرات أكثرهم لا يعقلون.
من وراء الحجرات أكثرهم لا يعقلون.
Just that qaf at the end, auntie. لا يعقي قي. Remember, we're going to the soft palate. لا يعقلون.
لا يعقلون.
Say it on its own for me, please, auntie.
قي
Say
قيلون.
قي.
قي.
لا يعقلون.
لا يعقلون.
That's a bit better. جزاكم khairan. Okay, we'll stop there inshallah. اللهم تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.